Okay, welcome back everybody to now cranberry juice and art in the afternoon. I did that on purpose. Don't email me. Okay. So we picked, or the chat picked the for me to work in the mysterious library using some gouache paint, which I just bought. I got this at Hobby Lobby. Let me get the packaging. And they're an inexpensive set, 24. They're $13.99 for 24. And I had a 40% off coupon. So they look like this. They're just a fine, what are they called? Fine Touch. I think that might be a Hobby Lobby brand. Just some Fine Touch gouache. And I put out this much of it, a big dollop of each color there. And I also put a dollop here's in a little portable palette here. And I still have half a tube of each one left. So, and again, they're just inexpensive gouache just to play with in our color books and, just to mess around with. So, but I wanted you to see what it looked like. Again, they were $13.99 for these colors with a 40% off coupon at Hobby Lobby. So what I'm going to do is, and what gouache is, it's like an opaque watercolor. So like watercolor is translucent, these are more opaque. Now you can water them down to be water, to see through. And I'm just going to try to play with them in the color book. We'll see how it goes. I may or may not like it in the color book. I've used watercolor and neocolor and watered down acrylic paint and all kinds of other things in our color book, but I haven't used gouache. So I'm going to, I gotta photograph this one. I have to finish yeah. So where is the one we wanted to work on? The girl in the Little Red Riding Hood, I think it was. All right, where'd she go? These are all in different stages of completion because I just like to play. I have a couple books where I just like to play with, there she is. I don't think it's Little Red Riding Hood. What is this one? This one is, it's a Snow Queen. Yeah, the Snow Queen. So this one's the Snow Queen. We have loaded our carts with gouache. All right, so I think for now, I'm going to leave it right where it is. It looks a little flashed out on it looks a little fuzzy on the page. But I don't, with the white color book, I don't really know what else I can do right at this moment to try to make it any better. See how it looks a little pink? I wonder if I put a little contrast to it. Let's see. Let me try a little contrast. Just a little. Maybe sharpen it up. Maybe turn the brightness down just a little. Maybe. No. I'm trying to keep it as clear as I can. And I want y'all to see the double page spread. So I don't want to zoom in any more than this because I'm going to be working on both pages at the same time. So hopefully this is good for just the initial wash. Yeah, this is cheap stuff. I don't know how well it's going to work. I've never used this brand before. But like I said, I just got it to play with in color books, guys. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, so what I'm going to do, let me put that Posca paint pen lid back on, is I'm going to spray them all down to get them, kind of reactivated. I'm not going to do that right here. I'm going to come over here off the... Okay, so I have them all just wet. I do want to put a little bit of water right in here, though, just to have a little plain water. And then I just cleaned out my bucket of water over here to clean my brushes as I go. I just use cheap these are just, I don't like to say cheap, inexpensive brushes. I get in packs of them at Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I'm not picky on the brushes. It's not like I have some nice expensive brushes when I do oil painting, which I hardly ever do. Well, I don't even remember the last time, years ago, that I did an oil painting. So these brushes are, uh, 20 for $5 or something. And I do like the nylon ones. I like the white nylon ones, although here's a couple that are the brown, not, I don't even call it brown nylon, but I like the white nylon ones. Just, I like the way they look. And these are the wood handle kind of ones. If you, really the best ones to get if you have a tendency to leave your brushes in water are brushes like these. They're still inexpensive, but they're plastic, and they won't chip off if you leave them in water. We are enablers around here, Miss Allie. We are. Okay. So, no plans yet. I'm just going to kind of set this right here to the side. I really wanted y'all to be able to see what I'm doing with the paints, but I'm not sure how I can achieve this. Let's make sure there's no water under there, because I did spray. It's wet here on top. I don't want to, I'm just going to make sure that underneath of my palette here is dry. I could probably use the smaller one. If I use the smaller one, because it's all the same thing. All I did was just put some in one palette and some in another. I think if I use the smaller one, y'all be able to see. If I use this one, you'll be able to see the colors, but then, I'm thinking about how you could see the book. So maybe I should go with this, rather than this. So exact same thing. And it's exact same paints. I just put some in this one and some in the other. So I'll go ahead and use this. Okay, so let me wet these down. And that way you can see me using it, I think. This may work. We're going to give it a go. I'm going to use a wash of gouache. All right, so I have no plan or anything. And again, I'm going to use the gouache, but that doesn't mean I won't use pencil at the end of the day. All right? Yeah. So I think, do I want to start with the kind of a gray birch tree? Maybe do some of the, all right, so let's think. All right, and let me just where's my iPad? I'm going to look up a birch tree. Is it more, because I used to live in Alaska, so I know what they look like, but it's just been a while since I've seen one. Let me look up a birch tree and see if they're more brown or more gray. Birch tree. Yes, I really should put a piece of paper under that. I got some parchment paper right here. Because it is going to go over the edge for sure. I don't want to send anybody over the edge. Thanks for the reminder button. You do want to put something behind your pages. Yeah, that's some parchment paper here. Let me just move it up so that I can bring the book closer to my body. Okay, so images. Let's see here what we got. Okay, so they're kind of gray with brown spots. So here's a good one. See how they're kind of gray, and then this is kind of brown. So I think that's what we'll do. And it's almost kind of a tan. It's not really even true gray, but it's got some gray. Let me just take a snap of that so I don't have to stay up on Safari. Let's go to photos. It's almost like a tan and gray mixed. So it's kind of like they're tan with gray. No, it's more gray with tan and brown. Okay, so I'm going to put a gray wash first. Yeah, Neo colors as well. We use those too. All right, so I'm going to go with try to make me up a kind of a blue gray. Let's see how blue that is. I'm just going to play here for a minute with my colors. And let's go with some of this blue and a little purple. I'm going to have to mix up a lot more than this, but I'll just go back and forth between these two. Okay, so these two colors and just a touch of brown. And I think that might be a good gray. Kind of a purpley gray. But I kind of want it more. Let me come over here and mix some brown. I got a plan. I'm planning this out with you guys. Okay, let's put some brown here. A little bit of. Let's do a little test. It's too purple. It's going to have to be more brown. And water that down. That's better. Okay, now the thing about using any kind of water, anything, whether it's your Neo colors or anything, remember you have to, you can do one layer at a time. And then you got to dry. Don't oversaturate your page. That's what it's the water that will peel your paper. I can get a little bit bigger brush. It's the water that will peel your page and go through. So it's going to have a watercolor look to it. See, I'm going to have to mix a lot more as I go. Let's get some more brown, some blue, some purple. And I just dig right into other colors, guys. I know you shouldn't do that. Jean's not here. Don't yell at me. Jean's going to go, oh no, you need to clean your brush before you go into the other color. Oh no, I don't do it. All right. So I'm going to kind of go with some browns, some blues, and I just want to kind of get a wash on here. But remember, you can't oversaturate. You can't oversaturate. You can feel the wheels turning in my head. All right, so there. See how I've just got that initial little bit of wash on it? It's not going through, but if I get this wet again, it will go through. Okay, so I'm just not going to touch that again. I'm going to go up here on one of these branches, and I'm going to start. I'm just getting blue, purple, and a little bit of brown, and quite a bit of water to water down the color, right? Okay, so, and we're just playing with it today. We'll see what happens. But the thing is it's the water that will ruin your page, not the paint. So you can put more, we'll put more layers, but we have to dry this. Dry it in between, either let it dry. I use a heat gun. If you have a hair dryer, it'll take longer, but you can, something just to dry. So I'm just going back and forth, getting brown, blue and purple, watering it down. And just kind of making and they're not, every tree is going to have a little bit different shade. They're kind of going back and forth between brown, blue, and purple. I'm not really worried about getting out of lines too much in the back because the background's going to be a separate color, and I don't worry about getting out of lines much. Tell you the truth. Right now I'm just concentrating on getting the trees done. Can y'all see? It's very pale, but I want it that way. I want the trees very pale. Let's get a little bit more blue, a little bit more purple, a little more brown. Hey, Carol Renee. Thanks for stopping in. Anybody that's coming and going. Actually, you know what I think I'm going to do? Because my background, I'm just going to really almost ignore the background and just paint right over everything. Just to get a wash of color on the trees. I'm going to go down the main, it's not stem, but trunk of the tree here. Again, don't be scrubbing too much water in because that's what's going to go through. But up here where the branches are like tight, I'm just going to kind of color them all. More brown, more blue, more purple. See, just kind of mixing them all here. A little bit of water. So I'm just going to get those back tree trunks done. Because I'm going to dry it, and then I can go in there and do the background or whatever. All right, so I think I got all the trunks over there. If you have any questions, put them in caps. And if you're watching this on YouTube, bless your heart. It's a live show on Ustream with a live chat and mostly alive, awake people. All right, so see, that side's already done. I got all the first initial wash done on those birch trees. And they're kind of tan and leaning toward purple, a purpley gray and tan. Because I'm going to go in there and do all the little, shadows and everything. But first I'm going to get the initial wash on here. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it is a live show. And so I'm answering questions. I'm talking to people in chat. Winging it. Oops, let's stay down here. Hey, Shells. And answering questions more than once, I'm sure. And you could probably just do all this with watercolor too. I just got these gouache, just, why not? They were like $7 with the coupon or something. For 24 colors. And we like to play with our cheap supply, inexpensive supplies. Okay, so there's that one. All right, got to mix up a little more. A little bit of brown. A little bit of blue. A little bit of purple. More purple. Pick some of that up, bring it over here to the brown. All right. Again, I'm not so worried about the background because I'm going to paint that more carefully after I dry. It's just easier just to kind of scruffy over all the branches. And then go back and go in between, rather than trying to paint. Now you could pencil it, but the point of this exercise is to use our gouache, right? So, rather than try to paint either one of those lines in there, I'm just going to kind of put a full-on wash over all of it. But don't oversaturate. Again, I can't stress that enough because you'll go right through your page if you get it too wet and keep going over and over and over it. It's best if you say, oh, I need that a little darker. Then let it dry and then go back with another layer. So just initially here, I'm just going to get a nice kind of blue, a purpley gray. Oops, I got a little bit of blue. Must have been on my hand there. Gray, brown wash. And I want it to be different shades. Like there's a little bit more blue here, a little bit more purple there, a little bit more brown there. It just makes it look more natural, more real. If you have multiple colors, Dede, you are a messy painter today. I'm pretty much a messy painter every day. I'm so meticulous on my portraits that, when I do stuff like this, I want it to be, fun and freeing and relaxing. And I'm not trying to, put a pupil in an eye, that. Sometimes I am on color booking, but, a little more purple. And this is just some inexpensive gouache from Hobby Lobby that I got with a 40% off coupon. I think originally it's $13.99 and I had a 40% off coupon. But, one of the things I like to show here, sometimes you want more detail, like, when I'm doing that fur on the werewolf, or, there's a time and place for all of it. When I do the hedgies with the Holbees, it's I kind of approach every piece a little bit different. It just depends kind of what materials I'm using, the mood I'm in, how, how much I want to show. You don't have to wig out because you're afraid. Don't be afraid. Okay, so I got a wash over all the trees now. Now I'm going to dry it. Keep going. Oh, my trash is sitting on my cord. And it will buckle some with the water. But here's the thing I found, guys, even with the Bennett Klein, as thin as those pages are, I found that it may buckle a little, but by the time you get your pencil on there, that pencil is smashing down any wrinkles. And they still may have a little bit of a buckle, but if that bothers you, if any kind of warping or buckling, because y'all know I just do all kinds of washes over all my mythomorphia, magimorphia, anamorphia. Those are all acrylic, watered down acrylic paints, and they will buckle some. Let me see here. Here's my mythomorphia, look. See? But when you go to the page, it's, if I really feel of it, you can feel a little bit of warping. But you can't really see it, So, yeah, you'll have a little bit. Okay, so now I think she is the Snow Queen, but I do want all the trees in the background to be an olive green or like a forest green. So let's go over here and test. Which green do we like? Is it the darkest one? Kind of that blue green. Does it need a little bit more blue in it? Almost a teal green. I'm kind of liking the idea of a teal green in my forest. So I'm going to put some blue. And there's no names on these as far as I saw. But, here you can just kind of play and decide by the looks of it. I'm kind of liking this teal green. Kind of the blue. I'm using a blue and the darkest green. Okay, now let me get a little bit smaller brush. And do a wash over. Again, this is just the initial wash. Do you remember if you were a kid and you got those I don't even remember what they came in. Did they come in no, it wasn't the newspaper. I don't even remember what they came in. One of y'all will remember. Where you would paint water. You'd paint water on the page and it would turn the color. Maybe it was just some cheap color books or something. But the books themselves, you couldn't see. Well, I think you could kind of see the color. But then when you added just plain water to it, the color came to the surface. I don't even remember what those were called. That's kind of what it feels like doing this. It's kind of like you're putting a wash on it, but it's almost like you're just putting water on and the colors come into life. This is just the initial wash. I probably could get a little bigger brush, but I try to use as big a brush as I can. Try to stay back at the end of the brush so my hand's not in the way. You remember them, Kimberly? Yeah. They were like cheap inexpensive color books like you could get probably just at like the 5 and dime. We had Wins. If y'all remember 5 and dimes, ours was Wins, WINNS. And you could get these real inexpensive color books and you just add water to it. I think it came with a brush. You have some of those still, Button? Oh my gosh. And then they're dots too. That's a different one, Terry. Yeah. And you know what? The dots, the follow the dots have come back out. If you look in your color book section at the bookstore, Dots are back out again. Follow the dots, you know, I don't know that they have numbers. I guess they probably do. I don't, but I think that the reason I never got any of those for now as an adult is they're so tiny. I can't see it. I can't see those dots. I can't see those dots and or numbers on those books. Okay, so I'm doing all these background fir trees a turquoisey color. Oh, the dot. Oh, the dot. The colors were dots. See, I don't remember that. I don't remember that, Terry. You're probably right. Ask Button. She has some. Were they called magic paint books, Muse? Yeah. And again, you can go back over this as many times as you want once it's just dry in between. And got to mix me up a little bit more here. The green, some of the blue. More water. Paint with water, Janet said. But that's, anyway, I said all that to say that's what I feel like when I'm doing this, because even though I'm adding the paint itself, it's just like a flat color and it just reminds me of it. So now I'm being a little more careful, like around her fingers. You know. And as long as you dry in between, you won't have to worry about, you know, it going through. I know I say that a lot, but I've had people say, oh, it went through. I don't know what happened. I know what happened. You didn't listen. Okay. Now, oh, I got one more here. So this is just the wash, and then we will add another layers. But I want to see how far we can get, like with doing our washes first. We're going to do the wash. And we might have a little bit, this is going to be snow down in here. We'll do blue snow, probably purple snow, I don't know. Could just leave it white, just a little bit of gray, like a blue gray. I don't like pure gray on snow. I like to have some color in there. No. What would have? I missed something. Janet's drinking, I think, but drinking my cranberry juice, Janet. Because my coffee was old and I didn't want to make more. Okay, now these little green sprigs, I think we'll go with, maybe make an olive green. Let's go with this green, a little bit of brown. And I can't tell you what the name of the greens and what the browns because they weren't on there. They're just, you know, they're just inexpensive gouache colors. So I'm using like a kind of a foresty green and an umber and making kind of an olive color. Okay, so I'm going to go with that, and I'm just going to go in here on top of these little sprigs. Almost could water that down just even a touch more. There we go. And I'm not going over, let me see if I can hold this up. See how there's little sprigs coming out? Little individual sprigs. I'm just, look. I'm not doing individual sprigs. I'm going over the whole kind of thing. I know I'm kind of far away for this, guys. You can't probably see a lot of detail, but when I go to do the details, I'll zoom in. Right now, I kind of wanted you to see the big picture, the overall picture. Because the thing is, guys, when you see these in nature, they're going to be clumped together, And then when we want to get them individual little sprigs, we'll just pop out a few. Essence of spriggage. I see how you like the tooth of the gouache with the pencils. Yeah. Well, it shouldn't be too awfully different texture than it is with the with acrylic paint. I'm thinking it's not going to be much different. Even these cheap, inexpensive gouache that may end up being, and see, it doesn't feel chalky at all. I really kind of expected it a little bit of chalkiness to it. It's not chalky at all. That it would be the kind of the texture of a watered down acrylic paint. That's kind of what I thought it would be. So I just thought, well, instead of using my acrylic paint, which I love, don't get me wrong, have every color, well, not every color, but a lot of colors, that I would just do, use some gouache as a base. I really thought it would be more toothy. I thought it would be more toothy than it is so far. But again, that could be this book. That could be the paper of this particular book. And again, you don't have to go speeding through like I'm doing here. I'm trying to get as much done on a stream for samples that you could possibly see. But when you're doing this at home, don't feel like you have to rush your coloring. And see, I missed a tree right there on the edge. So let me get a little bit of that purple back. Go right along that edge. All right. I think I got all the treeage. All right, now let's go over here to the castle. I think I want to make a nice, I kind of almost want it even more purple. More purpley gray. So let's go with more purple. Because it's going to be farther back, but I still want it to have like in shadow. So let's see. Let's go with more of a purpley color way in the back. There's little snow caps coming off of it. And I'm not really zoomed in because I'm not shading or anything at this point. When I start doing the detail shading and stuff, I'll zoom in so you can see more, detail. There's a little castle back there. Yeah, the Master Touch brand is surprisingly good, I suppose. Yeah, that's the Hobby Lobby brand. These are, and again, let me get my, whoops. Where's they're called, Fine Touch, and that may be a Hobby Lobby brand too, but they were only $13.99 for 24, and I used a 40% off coupon, and I squirted out this many in this palette, and enough, that much of a dollop again in this palette, and then I still have half a tube left of every color. So for like $8, we're having some fun. Okay. This is kind of on a little cliff, I think. So I'm just going to go with the brown here. And let's just put that on a cliff. And I can mix up more subtle colors. Add a little bit of yellow to it or whatever. I'm just kind of keeping it I'm just playing with these colors today. And I decide what I want her fur to be. Do I want that to be white fur again? Because I'm trying to keep it, y'all know I like to keep my color composition to 3, 5, just main colors. I try to keep it as a few colors, because then you can do a lot of subtleties with the colors. So like now I'm using kind of purple, brown, and kind of an olivey kind of blue green. So I'm kind of trying to keep all that together. So I'm thinking I might do purple and green in her coat, and then maybe a purple, just a light wash of purple fur. So I'm kind of keeping it all, those colors. So I want to just take, and I'm just going to kind of do a wash, kind of a subtle bit of keeping some of the fur white, and again, we can go back in there with more layers of paint or pencil or both. Okay. And I don't know what color hair I want the Snow Queen to have. I don't know if in the fairy tale she has a certain hair color. Not that that matters. We can do whatever we want. We're the boss of our color book. Is it too flashed out? I'm going to zoom in here in just a little bit, guys. Okay. And I think I gotta do this little bit of fur over here. Hang on. Let's mix up a little bit more on the purple side. Our little sleeve or cuff. As soon as I get all the base stuff done here, I'm going to zoom in, because I know it's hard to see. Golden hair. I think she should have golden hair. All right, let's go over here. I'll mix up a little bit of between yellow ochre. See, I should have cleaned my brush, and a bright yellow. Let's go with that. So it's not so pure yellow, and it's not yellow ochre either. Y'all can see I just use whatever area of my palette will work for me. So just get the initial color down. Okay. Now, let's see. I'm going to go in here. Let's turn it around here, so y'all can kind of see I want more purple. I want a lot more purple. Touch of blue. That's a little, got too much blue now. Back to more purple. Let's go here. I want it not quite purple, but not as much blue. Okay, so now, because I want her to have, I think I'm going to have, do I want it to be more green? I think let me go back with the green for a minute. I think I'm going to go, see some brown in there. Get some more foresty green. Kind of, I want her jacket to look almost like that green, like felt, green felt wool. Do you know what I mean? Not the color of a, sorry guys, got in the zone a second. Of a pool table, but I want it to look like a green hand felted jacket. So her fur is going to have a purple tinge to the white fur, but I want the coat base to be green felt. Okay, there's one coat. I have to put another coat on it, but don't oversaturate. Oh, something going on with Dazzle? Hope your day goes well, Dazzle. I missed what was going on, but take care. Okay. Maybe I can start. Let me zoom in now because I'm going to be working in some details here for a while. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Let's not go down and let's not go up. Let's go zoom in. Let's see, we could probably move over this way. Whoop, wrong way. Okay, it's not wanting to focus. Okay, I need to focus. Find something for it to. It wants to autofocus. There we go. Okay, there we go. You liking the colors? Okay. So again, I'm just kind of doing that initial wash, and then we'll go in and tighten it all up. But you can't be afraid just to get an ugly looking wash on there. I'm trying to pull back my hand so that if you have any questions, put them in caps. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. We're just playing with some gouache, some inexpensive gouache in our color book. And if you don't, think you can get the details with a brush, then use your pencils. There's no rule that says you have to do only, oh my gosh, we used gouache. We've got to continue with gouache the whole way. No, you don't. You're the boss of your color book. And I'm not using a water brush either. I'm just using a regular brush. Well, brushes, because some are bigger than others. Not me, Suzanne. Suzanne's asking if anybody's used the Caran d'Ache paints. I just use the Neo colors. That's as far as paints that I've got with them. What time is it? 12. Okay, so we have another hour if Joycey streams. And if she doesn't, we'll continue on. And I have a portrait I need to work on today. It's not a full-on portrait. It's more like a fan art portrait thing I'm doing. And then what else? Where's my little thing of water? Did I move it? Oh, there it is. Let me just get a fresh one. I'm just putting some water in my little lid here. Just so I can have, that's for dipping, not for brush cleaning. I just need a little bit more water to dip in. Clean water. No tweet from Joyce. Yes, she must. Okay, thanks. If you see, I'm going to stream it right up until 1. And I'll stream longer if she's not. Either way, it's fine. Trust me, I got tons of stuff to do. But I try to get to some place in a new page where we're doing some sort of detail or some kind of idea, you know, something that is beyond just this part, because not that you don't mind watching this. I mean, I love watching everybody do whatever. But you know, it's the same thing over and over. And I kind of wanted to, you know, be able to do a few different techniques, if you will, on a page in the 3 hours that we do a project. Okay, so now let's come over here to her jack. I got to mix up some more. Oh, it's this green. Wrong green. It's okay. We'll just mix it up over here. Okay. Needs a little bit more green. But you know, in shadow, the green's going to look different over on this side in the shadow than it's going to look exactly over here. But you know, if you're never sure of another color, when you mix up another batch, have your scrap paper next to you to test that new batch if you're not sure. Because to mix that color exactly again, it's probably not going to happen. You get close, and the more practice you get at it, the faster and the better you can mix up the same colors. But if you're not sure, are y'all talking about a new paint that you not heard of? What paint are y'all talking about, Vicki? Or maybe it's Sarah that's talking about a new kind of paint. All right, let's go ahead and do her skin. I could go into the little, she has, see, there's a little book. This is Snow Globe, and there's a book in there, but I don't want to do the snow globe yet because I know her hands behind it, so some of the colors are going to reflect. Like right here, it's going to be purple. There's going to be a little bit of green in the snow globe coming from the coat, and there's going to be a little bit of her skin color coming through the snow globe where her hand is behind it. So I want to get all the colors that are around it. Sonnet Watercolor, student grade of the White Knights. I've never heard of that either. Okay, so let's see. Let's come over here. Let's mix up some skin color. All right, I'll touch my red. Oh, no, let's clean out our brush really well and find a good clean, let's find a spot. See, this is the benefit of using that big palette, but I can't fit it under the camera. So let me move some of that out of the way. So I have a space. But the big palette won't fit under here. So I just need a little space for, oh, it's a Russian brand. Okay, so I'm going to get a little bit of red, a little bit of orange, maybe this orange. Tiny bit of white, titanium white. So that's the thing about the gouache, has the white. So a little bit of red, a little bit of orange, and a little bit of white. The gouache has the white because it's opaque, right? Where in watercolor you don't have. I think the white that comes with watercolor white is just gouache white. Okay, so I think that might be good right there. Let's give it a shot on our hand. Okay, so let me get our shadows in here. Be a little bit right there, I'm sure. Okay, now just a little bit more water in it for the rest. Okay, first layer. Bye, Lisa! If that was Lisa leaving. Love you, Lisa! Alright, so there's that. And again, I don't know how well you can see. First layer on her hands. You gotta be careful this. It might be some wet. I don't want to tilt this over and, you know, I'm trying to keep it in camera for you guys, but... Let's go back over to this one. Now here's her thumb. This kind of showing through right there on the behind the snow globe. Can you see some of that, I hope? Is it showing up? How to make the skin color with the red, like kind of like a carmine red and an orange. And then white. See, I got way too much color there. I need a new space. I need another space over here. And I'm trying to match it, so I'm going to go back and forth until I kind of get that color. Got too much orange in there now. Let me come over here maybe. There we go. Still, now I got too much red. That's too much. So it's orange. I think it was this orange. That's why it's a different shade of peach. That's close. I think it's a carmine red, my lightest orange, and white. It is showing up good? Okay. So the problem with using this little travel palette and trying to do all this, see if I... And again, I wanted to use this with you guys, this big one, but it doesn't fit on camera when I'm zoomed in. So that's why I went with the little portable palette here. I mean, I can clean out an area, but I don't want to clean these areas out when I'm still using these colors. When I'm done using these colors, I can clean it out, but, you know, I don't want to lose those colors yet. And that's titanium white, by the way. Maybe, I don't know, the titanium white set. Let me look and see if the colors are on there. They may be on there, guys. Let's take a peek. They are on here. I'm my bad. Okay, so I'm going to tell y'all the colors because I did not know they were on here. Okay, I know that one's titanium white, and then this one is just white. Okay, the white one's a little pastier. I don't know how to explain it. There's titanium white and just pure white. It's called white. All right, then we have lemon yellow. I left them in the same order here. Then we have yellow medium, yellow ochre. Let me turn this around to point. Yellow ochre, orange yellow. Not very, it's not that descriptive, to tell you the truth, guys. It's not like cad red, medium, you know, anything like that. Okay, so that is, okay, let's go back. This is yellow ochre, orange yellow, orange red, which is kind of like a cadmium red, looks like, vermilion, scarlet, rose, crimson red, kind of like an alizarin. This one's more like an alizarin crimson. Crimson red, mauve, which I never, I don't understand why they call it purple, mauve. or mauve. Because to me, mauve or mauve is more on the red side, not the purple side. But, you know, maybe in China, they call purple mauve. Okay, so now we're going to flip this around, and I'll tell you on the green side. Okay, so then we have green pale, green medium. This is really not that helpful, to tell you the truth, guys, because they're really not like the real colors. You know what I mean? Grass green, viridian hue, deep green, cerulean, cobalt. No, wait. Yeah. Cerulean, cobalt, ultramarine, and Prussian blue. And then there's three, a brown, let's see, a burnt sienna. Oh, sorry, wait, you can't see that. A burnt sienna, a burnt umber, and black. Which to me, this black is almost kind of on the gray side. It says black, but it's not a thick, dark black. So those are the colors, which I didn't even know were on there, but which to me is not helpful. I just go by the color when I'm mixing. Okay, where was I? Oh, we're on the skin. All right, so let's go back around this way. All right. All right, so now I want to water this down because I want to put the next, it's still not watered down enough because I want another, I got the shadow on there now. I'm just going back with the little bit more on the skin. Okay, so if y'all asked me any questions while I was reading those, I didn't see them. And again, I see her thumb through here. So you're going to have a little bit of that color reflecting in the ball. Just like over here, we're going to have just a little bit of purple reflecting here through the transparency. And then up here, we'll have a little bit of that green reflecting through because her jacket is there. Okay, so let's see if y'all move this off here. See the different colors in the snow globe? You're welcome. I mean, I did not even know that they were on there. I mean, it's your standard type colors, and they just name them, you know, dark and light and pale and, you know, kind of standard names. And I'm going to be mixing my own colors anyway. Okay, now these are not chalky. We talked about that a minute ago. I don't know if y'all are talking about these paints, but they're not chalky at all. I thought for sure they'd have a bit of chalky feel to them, but they don't. All right, so now let me go over here on her face. Again, I got to find a little space here to... Okay, let's see how dark that's. Too dark. I'll add a little bit more water. Just to start anyway. So I'm going to start over here in the shadow. Now I got to be careful. I see I've got a little bit too much water right there. I have to remember I am on a color book page. And if we're not careful, we will go through. Let's see what happened there. Yeah, see, right here on the snow globe, look, I had a lot of water there. It didn't quite go through, but look, it almost did. And that's because of the water, not the paint. I gotta remember, don't go crazy with the water. You gotta dry in between. And it's very light, guys. I don't even know how well you can see. That's all I want to put until I dry. No talking about, where is they are chalky. Oh, another one. Another brand is chalky. Okay. All right, let me dry this just on the safe side. let me hold her up a little. I really could take this out until I go to the edge. I'm not on the edge right now, so it's kind of in my way. All right, I think I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, a little tighter, one more. Okay. All right, now that I've dried it, now I can go in here with a little bit more detail. Again, now, I still got to remember, I'm putting another layer of water on here. I don't want to... She's very pale. I hope you'll be able to see this, guys. Maybe I need to tilt it a little. Let me tilt it up just a little, maybe. Because I'm working in such a light, pale area. I'm just adding another layer of the same peachy color I mixed up. Whoop, too much. You can see it? Okay, good. Okay, because it looks so pale on my screen, guys. Okay, now let's, just so that we can have something kind of accomplished, I'm going to go back to my foresty green color here. The color in her jacket. And add another layer in that. So see, this is where you start layering it up and getting... I'm trying to decide, do I want it to look velvety, which would be kind of rough? See, if I wanted it kind of like velvety, I would do it more mottled looking like this, kind of dab, 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 and make it kind of look a little not flat. Where the felt, if it was green felted, it would be more smooth. So I'm deciding whether I like it this way or... I think I'm going to leave it like this just to have it have some texture. All right, let me mix me up some more green. Let's see. And again, I got to remember not to oversaturate. All right, so let's just see. And I'm kind of cutting into the fur there so it doesn't look... It's kind of jagged. You want that fur to look kind of jagged on the edges. But I can't let water just sit because that's just going to soak through. So I got to be careful when I'm doing this not to have water sit. But the thing about the gouache is because it's more opaque, see how I can kind of get more darks? Does that make sense? But it's still best to dry in between so we don't go through the page. So we're just playing again, guys. You know, it's only $7 or something like that with a coupon for this set. And if you don't want to try it in your color book, make a copy. Just make sure that your printer ink is not going to smear. Some printers' inks smear. My Epson Artesian does not. But you want to make sure that when you print out something on cardstock or whatever you print it out on, that it's not going to bleed. That the ink from the printer is not going to bleed. Because some are more bleed proof than others. Okay, so see, kind of like that. I don't know if I like it, but I'm going with it. Now I'm going to dry it because I want it darker here. Alright, so now I want it even darker. Another layer, because I want it darker down in here, in the shadow area. I just kind of want it textury. Because it's something that you can get with paint that, you know, you have to work at to do this kind of thing with pencil. So, you know, let's use it to our advantage. Let's roll with what we can do with the layers of paint, right? So, there we go. All right, so now I want to come down in here and do the same thing. Although it won't be quite as, it won't be quite as obvious of textures down in here. I still want some. Let me back up my brush so you can see. My hand's kind of in the way if I don't. I'm trying to hold my paintbrush back so that my fingers don't get in the way of the... Everybody's talking about all different kinds of watercolors, and Jean's been doing a lot of watercoloring. Well, of course, she's been doing her organizing and cleaning the last few weeks, but she'll get back to her watercolors. So just kind of tapping in some texture. If you want more or darker, you gotta let that dry or go in there with the heat gun. Okay, now I'm going to come over here on this side. Kind of pop in that fur there. And then here, just a little bit more on the snow globe, where the green is kind of coming through the snow globe. And again, I'll do some more peach here and some more purple here. But I want to kind of blend it out so it looks like it's translucent. Maybe, I said, who are you watching? That is always... Oh, this wet hair. You keep hearing your heat gun. Oh, your husband's wondering who's blow drying their hair? Now, Vicky, as long as he's been around us, you're saying that you've never explained to him a heat gun, and you don't have a heat gun? Or is he just not thinking about it? Oh, May's husband. I'm sorry. I thought you said your husband, Vicky. May's husband. I was going to say, because Vicky, your husband's got to know what a heat gun sounds like. But anyway, so like I was saying, if you print one of these out to test or practice with either watercolors or gouache, then make sure your printer ink is not one that's going to smear with water. Yeah, I got it, Vicky. Yeah, I know there's a lag. So we got about 30 more minutes. Let's see how far we can get. And then the next, I do want to finish this or a lot of it on stream. And then I also want to do the hedgehogs that are in the Bennett Klein Wild with the Holbees. So we're calling that one Holbees and Hedgies. He's borrowed it before. Vicky. I'm just right here, guys, picking up more green. Oh, and I wanted to do some more on the bark. That's what I need to do after this green here. We need to go over back on the birch trees because we just got the initial wash on those. So anyway, there's just so many color books and so little time, you know? I mean, I wish we could just, and I have done it before, spend a day on a Saturday or something just coloring. So if everybody's having a good hump day, just kind of dabbing it in to make it look kind of dappled. And if that's not enough texture, I can go back again when this is dry with more. But you gotta almost be a little scared when you do water on color books, because it's very easy to oversaturate an area, not thinking, oh, I just need a big wash right there, and you put a big wad of water on it, and next thing you know, yeah, so many color books, so little time. But, you know, I like to try different things. I like to show y'all different things to try, whether we finish a page or not. I eventually finish them and post them. Eventually. But if nothing else, guys, I think I show you enough where you can run with it. You know what I mean? And you're not going to want to copy mine exactly anyway, unless we're doing like a complete, like we did the Oh Dear Bennett Klein when that was in 10 parts. But other than something like that, you know, you get the ideas, you know? And that to me is the most important thing, that you get the idea. Okay, so there we go. We got her hood and her, you know, and I know there's going to be probably some more little green bits in here. Whether, you know, I mean, you can get in there with your brush, very tiny. But if you don't feel comfortable getting in there with a tiny brush, get your pencil nice and sharp, and get in there with the pencil. You know, our pages. I make no apologies for my pages being mixed media. If I think a Posca on top of this is going to work, I'll throw it on there. But I want to be able to show you guys as many things as I can with our supplies, so we use them. See, it's going to be a lot of little details. Looks good, thanks. It's a little flashed out, but we do our best. The lighting, the bane of a streamer's existence. I always say that. And the light changes. I mean, every time I guess I could, like I said, sit here in the dark, get all this, you know, nice lighting, and set it up and close my blinds and sit here in the dark all day long. But I'm not going to do that. So the light is going to change. Okay, Melody. Thank you. Feel well, girl. Feel well. Okay, I think I want this part green. I'm gonna mix me up a little bit more. All of the, let's get it similar anyway. It's pretty tiny. There we go. Gray green. Okay. Right up here, that same design. Okay, we'll leave off on that for now. Alright, now I'm going to go back in the purple and see it'll reconstitute. So if it's, even if it looks dry, you can just add water to it and it'll re-wet. So now what I want to do is, I want to do little individual, let's see if that's dark enough, maybe a little bit more purple. Let's see. Yeah. And I want to get in here. Might need a finer brush. This one's a little flat. I need a pointy brush. Here we go. All right, because I want to do some little fur lines. There we go. And then I can add darker ones as soon as that dries. You'll see. Let me put a test. Let me make sure my screen's moving there. Like I say, I'm going to want it a little bit darker down in here because it's going to be more enshadowed. Whereas up in here, I should probably be working up here, where you can see where I want it lighter. So I want this fur to be darker down in here behind the, you know, kind of in the shadow. So let me kind of work my way up this way. Let me back my brush up a little. Back my hand up off the brush. Let's get a little bit more purple, touch of blue. Thanks, Vicky. Actually, I kind of almost want more white around. I think I might go in there with the Posca. Well, no, wait. I'll try to go in there with white gouache first when I get done with this. I'll try the white gouache and see how well we can do the white accents with the white gouache before I go in there with the Posca. but I'm going to want very little, few fur lines up in here, just like a dash or two, because I want this to look very furry, you know, very white. So I'm not going to put too much up in here. I would probably already put way too much purple, really, but, you know, whatever. I'm going with these colors. Will you join more here on Instagram? Maybe with your husband. I don't know what that is. Let me look real quick. Go to Instagram real quick. MorHiamay. No results found. MOR. Oh, I spelled it wrong. HIAMAY. I still spelled it wrong. MORHIA. There we go. Oh, there's so many that fall under that. Well, I'm not sure which one. I got a whole page with people with that name. Is it a group? Oh, like morphia, like anamorphia. Oh, okay. Let me try it again. P. There was no P in there. HIA. Yeah, okay, so MOR. Morphia May. It's not there. Again. Okay. MORPHIAMA. So, oh, I just hashtag. It's not a group. You're just saying it's a hashtag? Okay, I'll look at that after a while. I thought maybe it was like a group or something you were trying to show me. It's just hashtag with it. Okay. Yeah, I am on the Kirby Roseanne's Facebook group. I've only posted, I think, once or twice over there, though, because I haven't finished my Morpheus. And I didn't go back. I guess I could go back and post some of them, the ones I finished. But, yeah, got it now. Got it, guys. There's a lag. Okay, so I'm going to get this, keep working. I got 15 minutes. Yeah, if I don't do color alongs, I don't have time to do color alongs. I barely have time to color along my own. With streams, you know, if I'm going to color something, it's going to be here on stream or finishing something that I've started on stream. Pretty much. Otherwise, if I'm coloring, guys, like in this book, I showed y'all how I took like an orange marker and went through the whole book with my super tip Crayola orange marker and went through the whole book. Found everything I wanted orange. Now, maybe not everything, but you know. And so if I'm just coloring for myself, it's usually on, and not always, but usually it's like with a marker, a couple markers in hand, in the bed. So yeah. I mean, I follow some of the girls' Facebook pages, but I don't really participate. I don't really. If I'm going to really participate in anything, it's going to be in Bennett Klein's. That's my main Facebook color book contribution to the groups. Yeah, Terry, thanks. I just have a little bit of messier fur up here. All right, so what I want to do though is I want to try the white. Let's try that, but I won't run out of time before we try the white, opaque, you know, gouache, white gouache. This is gouache. If you're just watching, just catching in, just bought a cheap, an inexpensive set of gouache paint to play with. Okay, so let's put. I want maybe a couple little fur things might be showing through here on the snow globe. Just a little touch. All right, let me dry this really well. And I haven't done anything really much to her face or her hands other than just add 2 quick layers of, shading. So I haven't really done anything else with it yet. Or her hair. Her hair's only got 1 layer too. Let's go back with another. I used the ochre and the lemon yellow to mix up the hair color. Let's go ahead and put in a few more little areas in her hair here, just to have it a little variation in color. And again, I know I say it over and over, dry in between layers or you'll go through the color book page. It's, it's water. Okay. All right, so there's just a little bit more. I can add some more after a while. Let me dry that, and then we're going to try some white gouache highlights on the fur. All right, so now let me get my brush here. Where's that little brush? What did I do with the little brush? Is this it? Maybe, I don't know. All right, so I'm going to get in here with my titanium white and find a little spot. It's got some pink on it. Well, it's okay. It's got a little purple in the brush. We'll go with that. There's just a tiny bit of purple in there. I don't even know if you can see it there. There's a tiniest bit of purple, but that's okay. I want to try to see if I can do some highlighting on this with the white gouache rather than Posca. All right, let's see how we can work this. So I'm just going to go right along the edge where the fur is and put some of the fur. Now remember, that's still water, that can still be reconstituted. So you can't over wet this. What I'm doing here with the white, I'm touching the green, and the green can be reactivated. So you got to kind of keep it dry, a dry brush. Don't add any water, very little water to the white here. I'm just kind of popping out a few little fur hairs. Can you see that? So it gives it like it's over the top of the green. And again, if it's not quite white enough, you can, but I'm using a very tiny tip here to the brush. You can go back over it again with another layer of white if it's not quite white enough, or just get out your Posca, whichever. See how it just kind of, and that's one of the nice things about the opaque gouache is, you can do stuff like that. Let's add a few more down here. Any questions, guys? Have we heard from Joycey? Right along this little edge here. Maybe I want a few extra right here. Just maybe got it too dark. Go right along her hand here. There might be a few extra little. Okay. I'm going to keep streaming until she comes on then, Vicki. Okay. Oh, I didn't do this one. I missed this. I missed doing this one in the purple. So let me come back over here with a purple. Then I'll add the white right along the edge too. I think she's kind of looking like she's warm, right? Yeah, so cool and wintry. Exactly, Erin. Okay. Is she already on? Oh, I'm going to stop here if she's on, but I'm just saying I'm going to keep streaming until I know for sure she's on. If she's on for sure, then we're going to stop. Okay, so now let me dry that and add the little bit of white fur on the edge. Thanks, Vicki. All right, let me dry this. All right, now I want to go back in here with the white, like right along the edge, just like I did the other one. Okay, thanks, Button. Thanks. All right. So let's not get too much water there. Oops, still too much. There's water in my brush. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. I'll back up so you can see the whole thing. Just a little bit of fur right there showing on the green, you know. And a little bit maybe on our hand again. All right, let me back up. We didn't get to the birch trees, but we can do that later. We'll get back to the birch trees. Thanks, guys. Let me just back out here. Somewhere in there. Okay, hang on. So yeah. Yeah, we'll continue on. So again, this is out of the Mysterious Library. Whoa, there went the color. There we go. Now we have color. So there we go. There's the color right there, guys. Again, when I try to adjust the light, it either can get too light or too dark, but that's pretty close right there to the colors. It's quite vibrant. It really is. There. Quick, look. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you later. Thanks, everybody. Bye.